Have you ever noticed those long white trails stretching across the sky? Yes, those. People used to call them chemtrails, and if you mentioned them, you were labeled a conspiracy theories. But now, government, scientists, and billionaires like Bill Gates are openly talking about spraying particles into the sky to fight climate change. Welcome back to the People's Perspective, where we unpacked what matters, decoded for people who actually think. Keep watching till the end for the happy news of the week. Today we are going to talk about something I mentioned about a year ago, or maybe a year and a half back. Then I said, if this turns out to be true, I won't trust any media anymore, and I will seriously doubt everything scientists say. And yes, this is exactly where I am today, doubting most mainstream knowledge. So let's start from the beginning. The chemtrail theory first gained traction in the 1990s. The claim that some of those trails in the sky weren't just harmless contrails, but deliberate chemical or biological sprays for purposes ranging from weather control to population experiments. Mainstream media called it crazy. Scientists rolled their eyes. Even bringing it up made you sound like a crank.
Maybe all those planes of the contrails, maybe they're actually spraying chemicals into the atmosphere right now, and Uncle Sam isn't telling us.
Seems extremely unlikely.
That the United States is not telling something to its citizens, that seems extremely likely to me. Read the newspaper.
And of course, there are a lot of problems with what they're proposing. It turns out plants need sunlight.
Yes.
Have you gotten some grief for suggesting this?
Sure. I mean, this is like writing a book as the case for leprosy.
Well, first of all, let me ask you this question, because there's a rumor, I don't know if this is true or not, that some scientists are trying to figure out a way to block the sun to try to slow down global warming.
Could an individual start this?
In practice, only a country. A big
Okay.
country.
What about a man in like a hollowed out volcano with henchmen who occasionally shakes his fist at the sky and says, "They said I was a fool at Harvard. Who's the fool now?"
It's all.
But something didn't sit right with people. Whistleblowers came forward, military insider, pilots, engineers. They spoke of classified programs, hidden agenda. And the more they spoke, the harder they were attacked. They lost their jobs, their credibility, and in many cases, their voices. What goes up most? Come down. When reflective particles like sulfur dioxide, aluminium, or calcium carbonate are sprayed into the upper atmosphere for solar geoengineering, they don't just stay up forever. Over time, they fall back down into our soil, rivers, lakes, oceans, and even our lungs. These particles can disturb ecosystem, contaminate water sources, and alter the delicate chemical balance in nature. For humans, prolonged exposure, especially through air and water, can contribute to respiratory problems, neurological issues, and inflammatory diseases. For nature, on the other hand, the impact is even broader. Acid rain, soil degradation, and harm to aquatic life are just a few of known risks. Now, fast forward a couple of decades, turns out there is a scientific name for spraying stuff into the sky to reflect sunlight. It's called solar geoengineering. In 2015, the US National Academy of Sciences published a report exploring it. The idea: pump reflective particles like sulfur dioxide or calcium carbonate into the atmosphere to cool down the planet. And guess who is helping fund the research? No one else than Bill Gates. The Harvard SCOPEX project, that's the Stratospheric Controlled Perturbation Experiment, received his support to test the very same idea that used to get you mocked online. Governments have discussed it at the climate summits. Academic journals are full of technical papers or aerosol dispersion. So let's be real. What was once a conspiracy is now a proposed climate solution. Let's talk about people who dared to speak up before it was cool. Rosalind Peterson, former USDA crop inspector, gave data driven speeches at the UN about strange sky patterns and geoengineering risks. She was called alarmist. If you want to listen what she said in 2007 in front of the UN at climate change conference, click into the link below. It's an old video, not the best quality, so I decided not to put it in here. Another person was Kristen Megahn, a US Air Force industrial hygienist. Claimed she saw containers and records tied to aerosol dispersion. She testified publicly. Her career? Well, listen to her own words.
There, though. You got to remember there's a whole career field of people that work in bioenvironmental engineering. A lot of those people were told, do not talk to me. Do not talk to her. Do not email her. They were given no contact orders. Because my biggest thing was, if I'm just so, dishonest, don't you think somebody would come out and say, she was never in the military or something negative to discredit me? They've ignored me, but they've tried to silence me. Every time I fly, I am pulled into a secret room. I literally am tagged in the system for the TSA. It is difficult. As an industrial hygienist, I do very well for myself, but it has been so difficult after leaving the federal government to maintain employment. Nowadays, everyone runs background checks on you, and the first thing they look at is, wow, here's a whistleblower.
I attached the link to this full video as well in description below. As you can see yourself, these weren't internet trolls, they were professionals, and yet they were dismissed, ridiculed, or erased from the conversation. And actually, they still are. Meanwhile, those same ideas are now being debated in scientific circles. So, are they wrong or just early? Or they don't tell the story how the mainstream media and political would like you to understand? Let's slow down and ask some real questions. If this is now acceptable to talk about modifying the atmosphere, then how do we know it hasn't already happened? Who gets to decide which chemicals are sprayed and where? What happens if one country geoengineers its climate and causes droughts or flooding in another? What's the accountability system here? Is there even one? And here's the biggest one. Why was this discussion so aggressively shut down for years, only to be quietly normalized when the narrative shifted to climate emergency? It makes you wonder, what else are we told is crazy until it becomes convenient? If the sky is no longer neutral, if climate engineering is on the table, then who controls the weather? And who controls the truth? Because here is the thing. Long before the world started listening, there were people trying to warn us. They spoke up. They exposed. They risked everything. And we labeled them conspiracy theories. Or even worse, we silenced them. Next episode, we focus on whistleblowers. What is a whistleblower really? What legal protections do they have? And why are the people who speak uncomfortable truths so often treated like enemies of the state? Hey guys, I'm back from holidays and back to the old schedule. Looking forward to reading your comments on comment below what you want to see and what you think about our new geoengineering. Thank you everyone who tuned into my videos. It really means a lot to me. I am still amazed that so many people are watching. So let's have a look what Richard Joan Green 6918 said. You forgot to mention that when our magic field is so weak, if we get hit by a micronova, that will not be a good outcome. So, Richard, I have dived into the solar activity in further episode. Yes, magnetic field is important, but it's mostly atmosphere that protects us from that solar activity. Honestly, from what I researched, if the sun is going to hit hard, even the help of the magnetic field, we can be really in troubles. I mean, basically, if the sun hits, everything can be off. Especially since the most active part of the sun is facing now Earth, and the sun is at its 10-year activity peak. So the sun has this 10-year turn of the activity. David Gray 2075 said, having watched two music experts have an absolute train crash on another channel, I think they've learned a lot from you about presentation and research. David, thanks a lot for your kind words. Please don't forget to share it with your friends, as I'm looking forward to having a valuable discussion on those topics and looking forward to participation of people who wants real facts and not just a clickbait. NGC Cat's Eye said, thank you so much, Josie, for researching and sharing your thoughts. It's an incredible planet. Isn't the pigeon possum adorable? We voted it our favorite animal last year. Yes, he is really sweet and really tiny. I understand why you voted him favorite animal last year, and he was main character of our happy news of the week. So let's get to this week happy news of the week. This 4-year-old girl might just be the bravest kid in Tennessee. Meet Kendall Bradley. She knows how to use a phone to call her mom, but no one ever taught her how to handle an emergency. So, when her daycare teacher suddenly collapsed from a seizure and was the only adult in the room, most kids froze. But not Kendall. She ran to get help. Thanks to her quick thinking, paramedics arrived just in time. The teacher had stopped breathing twice. Thankfully, she is now recovering, and everyone agrees Kendall is the hero of the day. Her mom, shocked and proud. She said, I never thought to teach her what to do, but somehow she just knew. One tiny hero with huge instincts. Thank you for watching till the end, and as always, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, knowledge is the key.